Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. We're gonna have to put the glasses on because this is a serious video. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a good day. I look like I just aged fucking 12 seconds. You're welcome. So this is Love is Blind season 5 finale, which is the reunion. Gotta say, your boy was let down. I'm sorry. I apologize, but it's the truth. You know, I felt like I was expecting drama because there was some drama. There was a lot of fucking drama between Johnny, between Izzy, between Uche. And yes, there's this drama that was from the barbecue, right? And let's be fucking honest, okay? Look at yourself in the mirror, right? For a second. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell me, you're not looking for the reunion, or you're not looking at the reunion for drama, for a bit of like chaos, right? Because I am looking for the chaos in the reunion. If that makes me an asshole, I'm an asshole. Who gives a shit? My apologies. So yeah, so the reunion was a bit of a letdown because there's a lot of drama in this season, right? I feel like the Hamilton, which is in a shout out that we're gonna do after, did a really good job. And although I don't, it sucks because I do like Nick Lachey and I do like Vanessa Lachey. I think they're good hosts, but their reunion, they don't do a good job. I'm sorry, it's my opinion. I think as a host, especially Nick with the boys, when he goes to shop for a suit, when he's talking with the boys, say what's up, boys, and it's just one of the boys, Vanessa, she's very like she's very, what can I say, she's very emotional, which is a good thing because Nikki is very relaxed, and there's a lot of things that, for example, in last season we had and the complete, sorry, I'm gonna say it, a complete asshole. And Vanessa reacted, and she was right to react, right? She was completely right to react. And Nick didn't react, which is kind of the professional thing to do. But the most human thing to do was to react, and I feel like they did a good job. However, the reunion, we want some answer. We wanted some answer. I'm gonna be completely honest. We're gonna start with what I did like, and then gonna be going with what I don't like. I'm gonna sound like I'm complaining a lot, but listen, this is the first season I'm reviewing, and I've been watching every season since season 0. No, I'm joking. Since season 1. Yes, there was a lot of things that I absolutely enjoyed about the show. For example, like the fact that we had a couple, and that couple was Lydia and Milton. And I give a lot of shit to Lydia, but Milton, once again, Toby was a fucking man. I love that he really, Milton stole the show. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Milton stole the show. That emoji, brilliant. The fact that he was talking about Uche and now he doesn't answer Uche, and the fact that he was able to talk about like the way he handled situation, and he was like a fucking dude. The guy was mature. Even the hosts, they were like, "Holy shit!" And everybody was praising him. And dude, people were easily calling, "That's my boy," And I love that because Milton, again, when you look at him, when you look at the first impression, right? He was like the quiet guy, and I was like, dude. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say the truth. I want to be honest. I was always thinking that Lydia's gonna walk over you, my guy. You need to stand up, and I was wrong. I was fucking wrong because my man stood up like a king, like a fucking king, and actually managed to be not only impressive, not only confident, but actually be like I do love Izzy, but that show was stolen by Milton. And this episode, Izzy said next to nothing. He said next to nothing. So we're gonna talk about the other thing I liked was that it does seem. What can I say? It's nice seeing those people that we followed. It was nice that JP was there, and although JP was very clumsy, and let's be honest, he was very clumsy. I want to commend JP. I want to commend because he's not used to it. He probably got a lot of backlashes for what happened with Taylor, so he manned up and he was able to go to the show. Even though he wasn't comfortable, he wasn't very like he fucked up even at the reunion. He fucked up, but it takes balls to go up when you don't like talking. You're probably not supposed to do shows. You're probably not supposed to be on TV if you don't like talking. Just saying. But he did come to the reunion. Fuck up, no fuck up. A person that shows up, even though they fuck up, right, are gonna be better than the person who doesn't show up. I'd rather have somebody that's there and is willing to admit his mistake and make another mistake than somebody who's like, yo, I'm a mistake, I don't give a shit. Uche didn't come to the reunion. And it sucked because Uche was gonna be one of the main things I wanted to see at the reunion. But that's again, that's his choice. And it talks about the person, it talks about the character of the person. Another thing that I really fucking enjoy, and for this, it's kind of like a bittersweet for me. I follow this channel called with the Hamilton, Living with the Hamilton. So if you guys remember the first season, right, my favorite couple, which was Cameron and Lauren, the interracial couple, they're still together and they have this YouTube channel and it's phenomenal. And I'm gonna give you a shout out to the content they made with Alaya before, because Alaya had a chance to speak, right? But it wasn't complete. He didn't, and of course, it's like an hour show, so you cannot have somebody speak for like 20 minutes. I understand that, but Alaya, I didn't have the chance to speak, and Alaya, I have to commend her also. And when I saw Alaya, I was like, she's young. She feels young and very well. Of course, she doesn't seem young. I'm not saying that she's young to be by age. If you compare her to Lydia, who's 30, if you compare her to Uche, who's 33, she's gonna seem young because those Lydia and Uche have more life experience, and it's normal to have more life experience as you get older. Alaya, compared to those two, seem to be a little like a younger, right? And I don't think it is a bad thing. I think we're all supposed to grow up at our own pace. I think we're all supposed to grow up by following life, and life is gonna make you grow up whether you want it or not. And you can spend 5 years of your life not growing as a person, and then it hits you like a brick, and you have to grow up, right? So Alaya, a lot of time I felt like she should have said something. You can see that she was clearly not happy with the way Lydia talked about Uche. You can tell that even though she forgave Uche, she didn't really forget him. She didn't forget the incident. And a lot of people, they were mad at Alaya for leaving the show, myself included, because I was like, and at that time I didn't think that Uche was such an asshole. I think Uche showed his true colors, sadly, in the barbecue. The I want you guys to remember that when Alaya left the show, they were still in the pods. So yeah, Uche he wasn't treating Alaya the best, but I want to say that doesn't make him absolutely a horrible person. He wasn't a horrible person though. The way he treated her was not cool. He was dishonest. He was not loyal. He was trying to care for Milton, but then hide shit from Milton. He hide shit from everybody in the boys. Like, and it's one thing for Lydia, because Lydia, when this one was found out, when they found out that she knew Uche, Lydia came clean. Uche never had that moment to come clean. So don't you find it weird that they show Lydia coming clean about knowing Uche, but not Uche coming clean with the boys? Don't you find it weird? Right? I do find it weird. Lydia was also the one that told Milton. How the fuck is that Milton is being told by Lydia when he's been living with the dude for weeks? That bugged me a little. So Uche didn't show up, and just to say, I'm so proud of Elia because she did speak. She did speak. She did say she set a clear boundary with Lydia. She didn't respect, and I do feel fucking bad. This was a negative. This is a big negative for me. Alaya, she came there and she met people that Lydia was her best friend, yes, but Lydia was her best friend because she took a lot of place, and Lydia was there for her. She took a lot of place because Lydia knew Uche, and they were similar. And there's a part of Lydia for me that's like, oh well, we're the same. So I mean, like Uchi likes us both and we're the same. So maybe if he likes you, he likes me. And there's this one thing that I find really weird, and I do believe in whether people are saying that Uche is not like amazing human being. But there's this one part. If it was so bad, you guys remember when they started to in the first day, Lydia said, "Should we start from zero?" So if he was that fucking asshole, why would you ask him, "Do we start from zero?" Don't you find it weird? I do find it weird. So yeah, so basically that was the thing that I loved. And you know what? I did give a shout out to Taylor, to JP. I have to give out a shout out to Taylor because Taylor was super mature. She knows JP fucked up. She know he fucked up, but I think Taylor's mature enough to be, even though she's hurt, she understand that JP is not necessarily an asshole. She understand that JP might be clumsy. He might be might be the best with his word, but he's not a bad person per se. There's a ton of people that were on the show that were much worse than JP, and yes, JP misspoke. JP lacked respect and he lacked respect with Taylor, but the fact that Taylor forgave him, it does show more maturity on her side. And again, I'm willing to forgive JP because he showed up. Taylor was phenomenal this episode. She's like, I seen this guy. She's like, even said, I forgive you and I wish you the happiness. And you can kind of see in her face, she's like, I'm fucking done with you. I'm fucking done. We're done. But at least she gave closure. And that closure say, I forgive you. I don't want to see you anymore. I don't want you to be part of my life anymore. But I forgive you. And that takes a lot of maturity. Because if you're an asshole, or if you're a bit immature, the first thing you can do is say, I don't forgive you. You're never gonna talk to this person again. But I don't forgive you leads to the person saying, I didn't get closure. I still need that forgiveness. It leads to toxicity a bit, right? Now let's walk over for the thing I didn't like. Um, they spend so much time in saying who's dating who, if they're not dating, who are they seeing, and at the very end of the day, who gives a shit? At the very end, who gives a shit? You guys are on the show to meet love, and I'm super happy that you met somebody outside of the show. Good for you. We're spending so much time talking about people out of the show that we don't know nothing about. We know nothing about. The guy, Izzy was like, "Oh, I'm seeing the guy from the library," and everybody starts laughing. What the fucking the girl from the library? I don't fucking know who you're talking about. It's cool that you have your inside joke, but as a viewer, it's confusing. And then you got the hoes that are not saying anything. Oh, the girl from the library. Okay. It kind of bugged me because the whole even Izzy and Stacy. Izzy was a fantastic guy. I'm not saying by any means that Stacy was not cool. I think just like Izzy said, Stacy has a hard shell. She's hard to approach. She's hard to part of her life. But we did see a lot of moment of Stacy being vulnerable. We did see a very sweet side of Stacy when Izzy was sad and she said, "I don't like making you sad." We did see a very sweet side of Stacy when she forgave Izzy. And although she said no at the altar, although that she said that, it doesn't mean that she's a bad person. You want her to lie? You want her to lie and say, yes, I do, when she doesn't? I mean, shit. It's a shitty situation. And I do feel for my boy Izzy. I do like the guy. But I'd rather she told him before he gets married than after. Because after they get married, then he's officially divorced. And whatever girl he finds, she won't be his first wife. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't get married multiple times. I'm not saying this, but there's always that first wedding. That first wedding is magical, and by the third wedding, of course, it doesn't mean any less, but the person feel less because it's something they understand. It's like you remember your first paycheck. You remember your firstborn. You remember your first house. You remember your first car. You remember your first wedding. Who the fuck remember their second job? Right? Who remember the second paycheck? Like a job when you're young and you're switching job every 2 fucking weeks, right? And it's a summer of work. You don't remember that shit. And again, I did feel bad for Izzy, but at least in the long run, it's good. The whole situation with Izzy and Stacey I didn't like because it did feel like Stacey talked more about Johnny and about how she felt about Johnny that how she felt about Izzy. And I understand that they have things to settle, and that was the only drama of the show. But Izzy was your partner, and you lived this experience together. I understand that you guys are. The problem is, yes, it's a year, and it does feel like a year, and I understand why it's a year. You wouldn't want to see which couple are together, right? The year's too long. There's too much thing that's going on in behind the scene that we have no clue of. So the Stacy and Izzy confrontation, or Stacy and Izzy conclusion of the said wedding, we didn't get it. They've met like a week after, and they sort things out. We didn't get to see that, and I understand that as a viewer, I don't have a right to see it. I don't have the right to demand to see it, but it's still something that's missing, and it's a big part. Like you saw the whole relationship. And crazily enough, we got more closure with JP and Taylor. And they didn't get the finale. For me, that was insane. Insane. So this is something I didn't like. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be a So it does feel like I'm disappointed, and I am. I am. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm sorry if you didn't like the reunion. Good for you. I'm happy you enjoyed it. I didn't. Another thing I don't buy, and this is my perception. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying my perception. I feel like the whole story about Chris cheating, I feel like it's bullshit. Okay? I don't believe it 1 second. You wanna know why? You wanna know why? I believe that Chris is enough of a good guy to take a bullet for Johnny. I do believe that. I think that Johnny came in knowing she was gonna be fucking hated. She was gonna be fucking destroyed on a public place. And Chris, all he had to do was pretend he cheated, and everybody would forgive Johnny. Because everybody likes a victim. Johnny, although is not a bad person, I don't think anybody on the show was a bad person except for possibly Uche. We don't know. Thanks to the reunion fuckers. I think possibly Chris is a good enough guy to be like, yo, um, if I am a cheater, people forgive Johnny. Johnny again was not a bad person, but she did some fucked up things. Let's be honest. In that old reunion show where it was very, very weird, the relationship between Johnny and Chris. Like, Johnny admit on TV that he cheated on Johnny. And if I was on Johnny, if I was being being cheated on is a shit experience. Being cheated on in private is a shit experience. Being cheated on public TV is horrible. And the guy just said publicly, "Oh, I cheated on her," and she's okay with it. Oh yeah. I understand. That you're not mad. And again, it might be because they're lying. It might be because it's been a year. But I don't know. Sitting next to a guy who cheated on me, or a girl that cheated on me, I wouldn't be done. I'd be like, fuck you. You cheated on me. You broke my trust. We don't sit together. I'm sorry. Right? So, there was this instance where I was like, nah, I don't buy it. And I don't think we should crucify Johnny. But believing that she was a victim is a bit far-fetched. Because what goes around comes around, right? Who knows? Who knows what really, really happened? I mean, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the both of them because if Chris is saying the truth, then he's looking like a dick. If he didn't say the truth, well, he's lying and he's gonna be passing for a dick. So it's not necessarily that Johnny won't get any recognition and she won't get any backlashes. It's Chris that gonna get the backlashes, and Chris doesn't deserve it. It was another part that I didn't like is the Stacy versus Johnny. Like, Johnny was petty, and if I was Johnny and I was fearful that people were gonna hate me, bro, if Stacy was being a bitch to me, I would let Stacy be a bitch to me because she would look bad. She was like, "Oh well, Stacy didn't apologize. I appreciate you, Izzy, for apologizing." Shut the fuck up. Like, you don't understand that this is working in your favor, right? Because right now, those people are in public eyes, and there's villain and there's hero. Everybody likes a hero. Nobody likes a villain. So when there's a show like that, we're always trying to find a villain. Last year, we had a villain. The year before, guess what? We had a villain. The year before, we had a villain. Season 1. The girl who fed white to her dog. Right? Villain. I'm not making shit up. Be mindful. So yeah, so it was a bit of like a shit show, to be honest. And they spent so much time showing flashback. Bro, I appreciate the flashback. Okay? And last season, we had a moment that wasn't shown on TV. It wasn't shown on Netflix. And the editing team, they had it that to save Colton's reputation, which was cool. The shows you're showing us are things that are on the Netflix, right? I don't know how multiple brain work, okay? But the first episode of season 5 was released 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And you're showing us flashback from 2 weeks ago. So either you're missing content, or you're trying to fill in the... I don't fucking know. They spent at least 10 minutes showing off the past, and I watched at 2 times the speed, so let's say 15. The thing was an hour. That's a quarter of your time spent on thing we already saw. Why would you do that? So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't like the reunion. There's so much stuff that was wrong. Like, even Vanessa, she was like, it sucks. Vanessa, she was like, it's like, do you think that it was right of you, Chris, to? She's like, oh, you're such a sweet guy. I wanted to hug you, but now I'm learning that you cheated. Think it was okay to cheat? And Chris was like, well, no. Like, the guy feel like shit, and he's protecting a person who wasn't really fair, right? If he lies, so you don't need to have that. It's not necessarily about the comments. It's not necessarily. It's about being biased. You're a presenter. You're a You have to be biased. You understand that you're mad about the situation, but pointing finger at Chris is not gonna solve shit, right? And even then, Johnny seemed to be okay with it. Apparently, they were both seeing somebody else. Apparently, so what the fuck is the problem? Cheating is horrible. I understand that. Cheating is fucking. It shouldn't have happened. I understand that. But again, I don't fucking know, bro. And with Johnny and Chris, the problem also is they didn't spend time in Cabo together, right? We don't know what the fuck happened after the show. Did they see each other? Did they say, "Oh, we saw each other in the airport"? We don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Now, there is one thing. There is one thing that could happen. Okay? And you remember when she was talking about Chris, Johnny, in the barbecue episode, which was episode 8, I guess? She started crying. Maybe she knew he cheated on her. That would be why she cried. If that's the case, then I believe Johnny. But I believe that, in my first opinion about why Johnny was crying, it was because Izzy was the one she wanted. I don't fucking know. Who knows? Love you guys. Peace.